Okay, happy Monday, everyone, and welcome to Monday Momentum. Today, we're going to be talking about something that I think is rather interesting. It might sound simple, but I would say it's underrated. And if you do it well, it's probably one of your most competitive advantages. And what are we talking about today is your morning routine. How do you start your day? And I know this topic gets talked about a lot because you hear people say like you hear the 5 a.m. club, the 4 hour work week, CEO morning routines. Like there are all these things, right? And that's not what we're going to be talking about today. And I want to tell you, you don't have to wake up at 4 a.m. and you don't have to take a cold shower, right? But I want to kind of talk about the principle behind it, which is like the first hour. I think what's more important is that the first hour of your day sets the tone for what the other like 23 hours looks like. And most people kind of give that hour away, right? So the first hour, power hour, and I used to be part of the people that give it up to your phone, right? Or you quickly start checking emails or your text messages, or maybe even sometimes to what like other people's emergencies or what else they're going, right? And so you spend the rest of your day reacting instead of leading. So I think I want to talk about taking that hour back. So what your morning is, right? It sets the tone for the rest of your day. But I think what's more important is that hour. And so when I think about like, what are we even thinking about in that hour, right? What does your morning look like right now? And that's the first thing I want you to think about. And we have to be honest, right? It might be not great, but that's why we're talking about this, right? And if you ask yourself honestly, like most mornings for me are not super, right? But so I'm not thinking about like the aspirational version or the real version. I want you to really think about today, right? What does that look like? So I want to kind of walk me through your first 30 to 60 minutes of your day after you wake up. What's actually happening? And I want to say this, there's no judgment. It's just really, it's the one thing about it is if you reflect on it, right? If you write it down, if you think about it and it's not what you want, then you're more likely going to change it. So what does that first hour look like? I would love, like write it in a chat or you can unmute yourself and talk about it, but I just want us to be real, right? If it's one of the things I talked about, which is could be snoozing your alarm 10 times, some of us do that, right? But I'm just curious what the first hour, that first 30 minutes, the first 60 minutes, is it prayer? Is it jumping out of bed? Is it going for a quick workout? Is it journaling? I pray, exercise, eat, meditate, then start work. That's wonderful. Anything else? And some mornings for me it's snooze. It's snooze for like an extra hour. Hi Lajide, how you doing? Tell us.
Good. I'm doing good. Yeah, sorry, I just joined, so I
You're
missed a little
fine.
bit
We're
of the
talking
early part.
about the power hour, first
All
hour of
right.
the day. What are you doing?
Um, uh, this morning I did something extraordinary. I went to the gym first before going to work. I've not done that in years. Generally, when the week I'm working, I just wake up, I snooze the alarm a few times, and I get into the shower and lazily go to work. But today I did something different. I was able to go to the gym because I woke up earlier. Generally, I'm not a morning person, so mornings to me are not good. So when I'm not working, I don't get up on time. So it's kind of lazy up until around 9 o'clock ish, 9:30. So sorry, that's what I
That's
usually do.
completely okay.
And when I get up, finally get up, I will have a protein shake, and then I'll think about what I'm going to do for the day. Most of the time, it's I go to the computer and do some stuff online, and then go to the gym. But nothing like I don't have anything planned, which is not good. So I need to change
Well,
that.
this is you changing it. This is you doing something different about it. The first step is like bringing it to mind,
Yeah.
and then figuring out, is it working like today, right? Is it working? Is it not working? What can you do different? In the chat is mine is I pray and then get on my laptop, start mornings with stretches, organize my priorities for the day, pray, Bible study, which I get jump into today's activities. And I want to say, thank you for being honest. But what I kind of noticed, right, with everyone is like, some are starting out the day on defense, right? So that's like responding, and sometimes responding, reacting, and you could sometimes be putting out fires. But if your morning starts like that, right, your whole day sometimes I feel like it's playing catch up and you never actually get to the things that matter the most to you, which is like sometimes the building stuff, the growth stuff. It gets pushed to later and later never comes. I read a book, and it was, it just kind of helped think through what you want your mornings to start to be like, right? So whether it's meditating, whether it's journaling, whether it's praying, whether it's exercising, right? Whatever that looks like, I think if you are more intentional about doing that, right? It works for you. Now I realize some people are not morning people, right? And so like it's okay, right? If that's not you, truly, you don't have to start your day at 4 a.m. in the morning. You don't have to do that, right? Some people are like, 4 a.m. and they're in bed by 8:39, and some people are night people, right? They wait, they sleep in, but then they crush it in the evening. So you just have to figure out what that looks like for you. One of them is not better, but I still think starting the day off intentional is more important. So now I want to flip it, right? Because again, I want to keep it practical and ask questions. So if you could design your ideal morning, not someone else's but yours based on your life, like for instance, Lajide's working, this week he's working 7 days. So it's gonna look differently, right? So if you could schedule yours based on kind of your life, your priorities, your schedule, right? What would that look like? I'm curious. And I'll use me as an example, right? Some days I work, when I'm working, I work till 2 a.m. So the idea of waking up at 5 a.m. to crush my morning is not going to happen for me, right? Because we all need sleep. And to be active, right, you need to be well rested. And so for me, my mornings are different, right? The mornings that I go to bed at 9, then yes, I wake up and I'm excited to like be like, okay, I want to do this, this, this. And then the ones that aren't, I have to kind of pivot. So again, there's no judgment. Like everybody's lives are different, right? And so if your morning routine could only have three things in it, right? Three non-negotiables that would make you feel grounded, focused, and ready, like truly, truly ready to win. I want to know what they would be. Just three things. Like if you had to start, if you are like, this is the day that if I could do this every morning to really start and hit the ground running, what would that be? And I already know what I wish mine would be every morning. I try to do it some mornings, not every morning, but I'm curious. I'd love to know what three things people would say that they would like to do if you had the perfect morning. I'll start. I'll help people as you're thinking about it. So for me, I would say if I had to pick the three things, it would be prayer, it would be movement, so exercise of some sort, and then it would be intention setting. And so for me, right, prayer is just, it centers me. It's like, okay, this is what I want to do. This is how I want my day. These are the things that are on my mind, that I want to give it up to the Lord, right? So that's for me. And then movement, right? For me, it could be it doesn't have to be long. It could be 15 minutes on the treadmill, right? Or like a quick hit 30-minute workout, but it just helps me like to sweat and to like, get excited. I really like that. And then for me, right, intention setting for me is like just grabbing a journal, grabbing a piece of paper, right, and just kind of writing, okay, what are the big, I try not to do like, I don't want to put 10 things on my to-do list because that discourages me at the end of the day if I don't get it done, right? So I think about the three big things that I want to do to really help me move the needle. And I also think about from a monthly perspective where I'm like, every month, right? What do I want to get? Like if this month came and went, right? What would I be excited about that I accomplished this month? So that thing is what I center my three things around on a daily basis. So I'll give you an example, right? Just so you guys can understand I'm thinking. June is like my finance month, right? There's certain things in my finances that I really want to get in order. And so I think some of the time, like those three things that I'm thinking about doing is in line with my June plan. So that's the three things I think for me that would help me if I wanted to like really crush my day. If it was perfect every single day for me, that would be it. So to just say I'll hit the gym and eat a balanced meal. Grace says I'll get up an hour earlier, journal, walk, run 45 minutes, write my personal on work goals for the day and then for the week. So, okay, so that's kind of in line. Pray, study, start taking stuff off my to-do list, which I wrote from the previous day. Wonderful. Okay. So and that's it, right? It's nothing complicated, but on those days where those things happen, right, you feel like a completely different person, right? Your days are better, your decisions are better, your energy is better because you're like, man, I really crushed the day, right? Focus is sharper because you did those things, right? And then the days that you skip it, sometimes I feel like you feel different, right? You're just like, ah, this day didn't go as planned, it didn't go as well. But that's also something that I think about. And then, okay, so we know what good mornings look like, right? Why don't we do it consistently? So for that, I want to talk about like the obstacles. What are the things that keep derailing you from a good morning, right? Is it your phone? Is it your schedule? Is it that you stay up too late, right? Some of us can't afford, we have to. Is it that you don't actually believe that what you're doing matters? But I want to know, like, if you are kind of honest, right? What are the real blockers? What are keeping you from really accomplishing or starting your morning off strong? I'm curious to know what people are struggling with. Is it staying up too late? And Pandora's is staying up too late. Is it, maybe like kids in the morning, if you have kids, like, is that what's keeping you? Is it night shift for someone like me? Is it inconsistent sleep? Is it lack of discipline? If we're just going to be honest, is that it, right? But what are those things kind of that are like stumbling blocks or hindering you from going? I'm curious.
Yeah, it's largely again for me. It's not waking up on time. And I tend to sleep late and just not get up early. Um, and when I say I sleep late, it's not like I accomplish a lot at night. I try to, but I'm just trying to be honest here.
Love it.
Really, I'm actually about to do a bronchoscopy there, but I can really struggle with getting up in the mornings. I don't like mornings. It's just even when I'm not working, it's just a struggle. But when I do get up, I try to accomplish things. But it's just that inertia of wanting to get out of bed. It's the most issue that I have trouble with.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing. And I laugh because it's a common struggle that I have. But yes, it's just you just want extra, everybody wants extra sleep. Like, an extra hour won't hurt anyone. But, and imagine if you went to bed, if you were more diligent, we're going to bed better. And I'll say this habit, like any other habit, is not, you're not going to cultivate it right the first time. You're going to build on it, but you have to be intentional about it, right? Like the people who really truly wake up, 5 a.m., right? They built it over time, months, years, where they're like 9 o'clock, 9 p.m., phones going on, do not disturb, right? They're like, I really can't be that productive at night. Let me just, whatever it is, I'm going to push it off, right? And do it the next day. So I think some of it is discipline. And I think number one is owning it and then going from there. And I just looked in the chat and it's like I heard lack of discipline sometimes, staying up at night. Actually, phone is definitely a problem, and I also stay up too late. It's hard to find motivation when you feel sluggish. All true. Very, very true. Completely true. And okay, so thank you for, kind of coming up with your perfect three things to do in the morning and then thinking through the stumbling blocks, right? But I would say this, right? Protect that window because it belongs to you. And if you own that, then you own your day, potentially own your week, right? If you continue to do it right. So this is real quickly, I want to just challenge you a little bit over time, but we started a little later. But this is my challenge for the week, right? And this can be practical. Build your morning routine. Keep it simple. Pick those three things that you want to do, and I am going to do it. So like I'm going to say whether or not I did it in circle, right, in the community, but pick three things and do them every day this week. Just try really hard. and see how it makes you feel. Like, see if at the end of the evening, every night, right, you're not like, man, I really succeeded this week. Just try it, do it for 7 days. And I know our schedules are different. And 7 days might be hard, or next week might be easier. But if you want to pick next week, it might be easier. Try that. But and also, I want to add one rule. I'm going to say this: no phone for the first 30 minutes after you wake up. Just try that. See what happens to how clear you are. So, like, the first thing you don't do is doom scrolling on social media or responding to text messages or looking through your email. Like, if you slept all night and didn't check your email, an additional 30 minutes of not checking your email won't kill you. I said that. So, see what happens to your mood, see how different you feel. And I want to talk about it. Like, next week, maybe we'll spend like a minute or two just seeing what it feels like if we did it, right? So, I'm going to commit to it. And I'm hoping that everyone else does the same thing as well. But this would be something fun that we do. But I think that as light as I made it, right, I think it's important for you to, in order to own your day, in order to own your week, I think starting that way is really important. So that is all I got. I hope it was helpful. Thank you for joining us if you are streaming with us on another platform. But the 30-minute challenge, I personally love the 30-minute challenge. I'm going to do it because I know my phone is also, I'm always like, who's calling me? What team member is calling me? What about work am I missing? What text messages, what group chat message am I missing out on? So I'm going to push and do that. But thank you so much for all the engagement. As always, bring a friend next week. We're going to be talking about something exciting next week. And if there's a topic that you want to hear about, or you want us to just talk about it as a way to grow, as a way to build together, please feel free to reach out to me and send it to me. But on that note, everyone have a wonderful evening. Bye.